there's one man that is scaring President William Ruto, it is Justice David Kinani Maraga. Why is this happening? Ladies and gentlemen, before I take you through, kindly if this is the first time you're watching these videos here, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Now, the first thing is this. Maraga, as we speak today, is coming as a game changer for the nation. And that is becoming a threat to President William Ruto in various ways. Number one, it's because of the problems that we are facing as a country. You have to accept that the two major challenges we have in this country is the respect to the rule of law and, of course, service delivery. And one of the reasons as to why I feel that Maraga is a threat, it's because of his background on the respect of the rule of law. When you look at what President Ruto has been doing in his past 2.5 years, or even 3, it is encourage an environment of disrespect to the rule of law. At some point, we had Inspector General of Police literally avoiding the courts or not going to the courts as part of the court orders. He literally disobeyed the court order. Not just that alone. If the Inspector General of Police, the deputy, the acting Inspector General of Police, the same thing happened with the current Inspector General of Police. Until the court has to make so many orders, so many threats for them to come on board. So the respect to the rule of law under President William Ruto has been a problem. And now when people look at Maraga and see like him as a person who is coming to fix the issue of the respect to the rule of law, and people know very well that he's able to do that, then it becomes a big threat because people might consider him. Apart from that, if you look at abductions that are happening in the country, all these are as a result of the disrespect to the rule of law. If a president promotes abductions, then he's disobeying the constitution. That's disrespect to the rule of law. So as a result, you realize that abductions are as a result of disrespect to the constitution, disobedience to the constitution. So people see if Maraga comes on board, he will end abductions that have been crippling the youth of this country's freedom. Because you realize a youth expresses himself, he's abducted by unknown people, he's taken to unknown places, either he comes on and it later appears after some time either killed, body found in a mortuary, or tortured. So in a nutshell, abductions are a serious sign of disrespect of the rule of law. Another thing I want to say is this. The killings that have been happening in the country are not well investigated. Look at the Mlolongo brothers that were found dead. These people were literally abducted by people actually assumed to be police or alleged to be police officers. And then later on, they were found dead. As we speak today, there's no any serious active investigation that's going on against these things. It's because of the goodwill from the highest office. But as we speak today, if Maraga comes on board, people will see him as a person to be able to follow up these cases and ensure that they are all brought to book. Not once, not twice, Maraga has said that the only thing that he'll be able to do in office is to ensure that everybody respects the rule of law. And that's the way to run this country. You also have to say it here that one of the problems we have in the country is the expenditure that is poorly done. People are using huge amounts of money that are legally withdrawn from the consolidated fund or maybe from whichever the place they get it from, or even the central bank. And this money is later on spent outside here, bribing, and in any other form of corruption. That means the law is broken in a scenario where you just take money without the due process that is constitutionally stipulated. When someone does that, that's going against the rule of law. And Maraga is known to respect the rule of law. So people will consider him as a person who will be able to ensure that there's no corruption, because he'll be able to ensure that money is channeled to various destinations according to the provisions of the Constitution. Another reason Maraga is becoming a threat to President William Ruto as we speak today. It is the fact that he can get the favor of the youths. Why am I saying so? If you look at the conditions that the youths, especially the Gen Zs, gave back in 2024 June, one of them is someone who has been corrupt free, someone who's been doing his work, someone with integrity to be the president of this country or even to occupy any post in this country. But when you look at what is happening, all these presidential candidates have some flaws. They have some problems that at least at some point they either were corrupt, went against the rule of law, or in some way they are not in, they did not uphold integrity. But when you look at Maraga, fits precisely to the conditions that the youth of this country have been saying. And he becomes the person who is clean enough to be the president of this country. Others even see him as a Kibaki, the current Kibaki as we speak. So therefore, he becomes an attractive presidential candidate to the youth of this country because of his history of respect to the rule of law and of the history of his cleanliness as far as corruption is concerned. Now, another thing I want to say here, it is that Maraga, when he was asked, "Are you corrupt?" he stood up in the chambers of parliament and asked for the Bible, raised his hand and said that, "I swear in the living Father who created heaven and earth, I have never taken a bribe." Something that no other politician can do because they have all been bribing. So in a nutshell, Maraga fits the conditions of the youths and he can easily get the votes of the youths and become the president of this country. Another thing I feel strong that is becoming a threat to William Ruto is this. There is a desire for change in this country where people feel there should be a break from the past form of politics and have someone who is completely new, not connected to any of these older politicians. And you look at across, if we start with Kalonzo, he was with Moi. Ruto, Moi. Uhuru, Moi. Raila was Moi. Gachagua, Moi. Now at this point, Maraga comes out as a person who just came from the judiciary and as a person who has been standing for his principles. So people feel that this is the person we want to bring the change that we need as a country. The change for leadership and the change in the type of governance that we experience as a people of Kenya. And that's why it becomes one of the greatest and most dangerous threats that President William Ruto will ever face in this country. Because there's nothing William Ruto wants like winning the presidency come 2027. He can do anything possible. I don't know what's your take, but please let me know in the comment section whether Maraga is a threat to President William Ruto.